Alright, for part two on using the budget, I just want to real quickly recap what we did in part one, taking money out of envelopes. So the very first thing, you can either take the money out of the envelopes first or update your bank account first. So let's say I update my bank account first and I check my bank account and I have exactly $12,000 in it. That's going to create a difference. Our goal is always to make that equal to zero. So essentially what this is telling me is that I updated my bank account, but my envelopes are not updated because every penny, I say this again, every penny that's in our bank account should be accounted for in an envelope, which essentially is making this zero. So now to update your envelopes, you either go back and look over your receipts, or maybe you've manually wrote down every transaction you've had. Both of those are very time consuming, so what's more likely is using your online banking feature to view all of your transactions that you've made since the last time you've updated your budget. Now, I said with Huntington, we have this nice little category option where we can update each of these transactions and mark them as done. And if you didn't have this feature, what you would be able to do is on the budget, look at your last activity. So here my last activity says $2.10. When I look at my online banking, I find that $2.10 and see that this is my last transaction. So even if I didn't have this done option, I can figure out where I left off by using that last activity box. So I will go through and take money out of each envelope. So let's just say I had one transaction for $830.32, and this was a hunting trip. Click Save, and that took money out of the envelope. And again, our goal is to make this zero. So just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to just add that amount. Let's say I had a very generous gift. If you notice, I'm not saying, I got a paycheck, because that's the typical way we'll add money, and I'll show you what we do with paydays. So let's just say this is a Christmas gift, a very generous one. And so if that was my last transaction on this list, I'm pretending that I had those two transactions, that my total in envelopes match what the total in bank is. So I have a difference of zero. So my budget is completely updated right now. So at any moment in time, you can make financial decisions based on what you have in each of your envelopes. So, if I wanted to say, let's go on vacation, let's go away for the weekend, and I look and see how much I have in my vacation envelope, I have $0. So if I spend anything, I'm going to be going in the negative, and that is not good. If you look at down here in the groceries, I'm already negative in one of these envelopes, and really, theoretically, this should never happen using an envelope-based system, because if you had actual envelopes, you could never take money out of an envelope that didn't exist. So this is not a good thing. I would want to try to move money into this account. So let's say I take some money out of savings and I move it to groceries. So I can do it by clicking the envelope name, and what this does is this will save it in the history. Let me show you the history real quick. There's a activity tab. I can either click the show history button or click the activity tab, and this will pop up, and you'll see that it's already begun accumulating the transactions that I've put in throughout this demo. So you can see that the debits for these tasks and the credits that and the credits that I've done. With this being Excel, you can sort and filter based on envelopes or the different criteria. This is just a regular filtered list in Excel. Whenever I'm done with the history, I can click here again. Here's another hide option, so you can hide history. If I click this, it goes away. To bring it back, click the show history button. So that's the history. So when you click on an envelope to make a transaction, it will log it in history. If you want to do something that's not saved in history, you can just manually do it in the envelope amount box. So if I come up here and press 0, that takes away that amount in groceries, and you notice it doesn't save it in history. So let me go up here into my savings envelope and do an equals and subtract out that $14.59, so I get back to 0. So I took $14 out of my savings and I moved it into groceries to make that 0. So that's a recap on how to do the envelopes, and I will show you how to do the payday tab next.